Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled, and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. Titus 1 verse 15. Paul, of course, does not excuse sin here, and supposedly assert that sin is not sin if you do it not thinking it to be sin. In truth, we all have a conscience given us by God that reveals to us the dictates of His holy law, convicts us with guilt when we violate it, and approves of our actions when we follow that law of God written on the heart of every man. But sin is sin, because of the impure motivations and attitudes that necessarily attach to it and from which it flows. To the impure, whose very hearts and minds are defiled, everything is twisted into perverseness. But a pure mind will see the good in the things God has put in the world around us. James 1 verse 22 says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." In this passage, James exhorts us to take action. We are not to just listen to God's words and do nothing. This does nothing to advance the kingdom. We are to be doers of the word, to put God's words into action, to make a difference. If we hear only, we are simply pew sitters. We are of no more consequence than the paint on the walls. Unless we do what the word says, we are useless to the kingdom. Be a doer. Devotion topic is how God reveals Himself. When I asked myself that question, I came up with so many answers they were too long to list. However, I will name a few. Looking into the faces of my newborn children and grandchildren, watching the waves break on a stormy day, standing in Denali, looking up at Mount McKinley, a crocus peeking out of the snow, seeing the sunrise and/or sunset over the ocean, seeing the look of love in the eyes of a spouse or a child. I could go on, but it's time for you to think about it. One thing I have learned is that you won't see the hand of God unless you look for it. I feel very gifted that I had a grandmother who taught me to look for God when I was very young, 3 years old. Needless to say, my world was not exactly filled with exciting visions at that point, nor has it been since then. But I learned that God was in the very ordinariness of our days. You are running late and find that you just missed the accident on the highway. You didn't hit the car that came out from behind the snow bank without stopping. God is always there in both the good and the sad times. We cannot stand with Peter, James, and John at the top of the mountain, but as we continue through Lent, let us challenge ourselves to take a few moments at the end of each day and thank God for God's presence in the ordinariness of our own days. If you enjoy this video, please like and comment telling us that you enjoy it. And remember to subscribe and turn on your notification bell, that way you will not miss any of our videos.